This video is dedicated to James Humphreys. James, thank you. Rograkh and Tevesh Szat versus Ragavan. Decent hand for us, we will certainly keep. Play out the Blackcleave Cliffs because that comes in untapped. And get out the Mana Crypt as well. Or the Mana Vault, I should say. Ragavan Nimble Pilferer into play. And get into a Necropotence as well, making some good draws here. So play out and crack the Verdant Catacombs. That can be a Badlands. Takes us into Tevesh Szat, Doom of Fools. And we'll +2 and make some Thrall tokens. As well as getting out our commander. Our opponent swings in towards us, they might as well. We will block with a Thrall token, which we can do all day long. And then is an Idol of Oblivion. Do start getting chipped away by the Mana Vault here. And manage to draw into a Cabal Ritual, which can get down the Necropotence for us. Don't really have a means of comboing off at the moment, so we'll just play out the City of Traitors, tap that down for mana straight away. And actually, no we won't. Let's sacrifice our commander. And we'll draw 3 cards here. Put our commander back in the command zone. Okay, a Praetor's Grasp. A Jeska's Will is pretty good. So we'll ramp ahead with the Jeska's Will. Target our opponent with that will make us 6 red mana. And there we have available to us an Opposition Agent, a Talisman, and a Mox Opal. Might as well play the Mox Opal. Play the Talisman as well, that will switch on the Mox Opal. And then we will Cabal Ritual. That is going to be 3 black mana. So that can take us into Necropotence. Alright, and our opponent decides to scoop it up there. I think ultimately what I would have done there was played Opposition Agent and replayed the Rograkh. No need to go Final Fortune yet until we're going for a win. And then probably try and tutor up a second half of a combo piece with Grim Tutor. Assuming that we get into one half of a combo piece off the Necropotence or our commander. Anyway, pretty quick one thanks to the fast mana, so we'll try again. Okay, try another game here, this time up against Small Radha. We've got a decent opening hand here, can get down a Talisman or a Signet on turn 1, so we'll keep that, refill our hand with the wheel. Just a tap land from our opponent, and we make one hell of a top deck with the Jeweled Lotus, so yeah, that hand goes from okay to pretty great. We can get out both of our commanders on turn 1, one of which is a 5-drop. So crack the fetch for a Badlands, get out the Lotus Petal and the Jeweled Lotus. Crack Jeweled Lotus for 3 mana and the Lotus Petal for 1. Get out the Tevesh Szat with that mana. And then play the Rograkh as well. And I'll make a couple of Thrall tokens. Yeah, pretty commanding turn 1. Our opponent's well on the back foot here. Alright, but they've got their colours fixed and do get into a Sol Ring of their own. And following that up with a Walking Ballista. Just 1 counter on the Walking Ballista. And then even more mana with an Elvish Mystic, so managing to keep up with us. Okay, and then our Rograkh being shot by the Walking Ballista getting sacrificed here, so going to cost us 2 mana to get the Rograkh out again. We draw into Jeska's Will. Our opponent has 3 cards in hand, and we obviously own our commander. So just make a couple more Thralls here, I think. And then I'll get out the Rakdos Signet as opposed to the Talisman, because I'd rather they blow up the Signet than the Talisman. The Signet doesn't tap for mana on its own without help, so yeah, I value the Talisman more here. Tapping down almost all their mana, that is a Beast Whisperer. So I'm sure they have lots of dorks in this deck. And the great top decks just keep coming, that is a Skull Clamp this time. So I've been very lucky this game. So play out the Skull Clamp, equip that to a Thrall straight away. And obviously draw 2 cards. Wow. We are getting lucky top decks here. That is an Ancient Tomb, which we can use the mana from to get into the Sol Ring. Use some of that floating mana from the tomb, and we'll draw a couple more cards with Skull Clamp. Alright, peer into the Abyss. We'll usually point at ourselves and Necropotence as well. Speaking of losing life and drawing cards. get out the talisman, and we'll end the turn with our 2-mana Rograkh, I think. Oh, also plus on the Tevesh Szat to make a couple of Thralls. Yep, playing a Dork into the Whisperer, a Findhorn Elves will cantrip. Followed by a Summoner's Pact, so... yeah, maybe all we have to do next turn is wipe the board, and they won't be able to pay the cost on that. Get to search for a creature for free here, though. And the creature they tutored up is a Reclamation Sage, which I'm guessing is going to go on the Skull Clamp. I actually value my mana more at this point, because we'll try and combo off, thanks to Peer into the Abyss next turn. So yeah, playing the Rec Sage, pointing it at the Skull Clamp, and then Beast Whisperer swinging in at the Tevesh Szat as it should, but we can just throw a Thrall token in the way of that. Okay, Deflecting Swat is a great draw as well, so we can defend any combo that we might be able to tutor up here. So we've got just enough black mana, point the Peer into the Abyss at ourselves, and we will draw half of our library, going down to 17. And yeah, maybe Phyrexian Arena as opposed to the Command Tower. Gains us a little bit more mana. Get down some of these cheap rocks, one of which is a Mox Amber. We'll tap for both of our colours as the board stands now. See what combos we've got available to us. We've got a Twin Flame, so if we've got Dual Caster we can just combo off now. Okay, we've got a wheel for the Lion's Eye Diamond. Got a bonus round there as well. So get out another Mox in Mox Opal. And I'm sure there's 1,000,001 things we can do here, but I'll just stick with the obvious. We do have the Dual Caster Mage, so we've got the combo here. Play out the Phyrexian Tower, make a couple of mana off that by sacrificing a Thrall. And then we can cast Infernal Plunge for the red mana as well, so tap down the Mox Amber. Infernal Plunge will have us sacrifice a Thrall token, makes us some red mana. Okay, and our opponent scoops it up there, that's fair enough. All we were ultimately doing there is casting the Dual Caster Mage, but not before we go for, where is it? The Twin Flame. So Twin Flame goes on to any one of our creatures, and then while it's on the stack, we cast the Dual Caster, pointing that at the Twin Flame, and then every Twin Flame from that point on will be casted at Dual Caster Mage, and we have infinite 2/2 hasters, which go wide. So, yeah, a couple of quick ones there. I will use this as a test run and see if people want to see more of this deck. Be sure to share it with your friends and give it a thumbs up if you do want to see more from it. You can donate on Patreon as well. Link is in the description below if you'd like to thank me for my efforts on this channel. I'm Tribalkai. Thank you for watching.